Up out my forest, they looked into my room. I was only 4 years old, I didn't know what to do. I was playing muscle man with a friend, I think the dude was named Vernon. He saw the M16s and stepped away from the curtains, and they kicked in the door. This is the DEA. They saw my father, and then they fucked up his face, and they cruised up the stairs with their M16s. They busted into my room and scared the fuck out of me. I saw my mama, I said, what the fuck's happening? She said, we're busted. I said, what the fuck does that mean? She said, for growing the weed under the basement floor. I said, the plant that dad smoked. She said, but there's more. They're gonna take up our house, they're gonna take all your toys, they're gonna take away data, they're gonna put them in bars, they're gonna take all our money, they're gonna take all your cake. The next day was my birthday, I'm not being fake. These motherfuckers, they're called the DEA, they're called the CIA, they're called the NSA, and today they listen to everything that you say, but you don't give a fuck, you just go about your day. You're not American. They keep a file on everyone and we pretend that we're dumb. We sell all our metadata, it's worth more than a sum, but they don't give us back none because they know that we're numb. We got some stupid motherfuckers that just want to be safe, and they'll give up their freedoms, man, they'll give up their say. They'll spend $1 million on education just to join up the slaves. You're not American. Dangerous thoughts! Dangerous thoughts! Oh my God. Welcome to Dangerous Thoughts, the podcast that dives headfirst into the shadowy realms of reality. We're very paranoid on this show. This is my co-host, Ticin Strasberg. We love him. We can't stand him, but we love him. No, we love him. Ticin, I love you, man. Am I starting the show too drunk with an I love you already? I love you, Ticin.
I'll take it. I love you too.
We dive headfirst into the shadowy realms of reality. We explore the edges of where most fear to tread. We question everything and we fear nothing. From the mysteries of consciousness to the unsettling lurking behind the facade of everyday life, we peel back the layers. We reveal the raw, unfiltered essence of our existence. This is not for the faint of heart. So if you're watching this show and you're a snowflake or just a total wimp and you're woke, check out. This is for the brave, the curious, and those who crave the uncomfortable truth. Join us as we embark on this journey together, pushing boundaries and shattering illusions. We are the voice in the darkness, the spark in the abyss. You think there's actually sparks in abysses? I thought abysses were like deep, dark places with no sparks. But we're the spark in the abyss. And prepare to expand your mind and confront the unknown. Welcome to Dangerous Thoughts, the most provocative podcast on planet Earth, if it is indeed called planet Earth for real. Anyway, welcome to the show. Let's dive in. Ticin, let's talk about what happened this week. I mean, there was some, pretty important shit that happened this week. What do you think? You got anything?
Oh, let's see. Oh, what are the big things that are happening? God, I
don't know
it out. Guilty! 34 counts. Sorry.
Guilty on 34 counts. Yeah, right.
34 counts.
Let's talk about that.
I was at work and we were in the middle of a meeting. And it popped up on my phone. I think it popped up on everybody's phone. And, it just, everybody's like, oh my God, I gotta go. We watched the counts come in live.
Did you get a
guilty,
boner?
Guilty. Once it got to like 30, I was rock hard. 31, 32.
Took all the way to 30, but you got there.
That's my God. Oh,
it's good. Here on Dangerous Thoughts, we don't endorse the opinions of anybody that comes on our show, but we do believe in the beautiful layers of truth and reality, and of basically we're open to anything anybody believes. This week, oh shoot, man, I'm not even ready to talk about this week. This week we have actually a buddy of mine, Prince Bagdasarian, who's an incredible filmmaker, an artist, a director, a writer. He also, he knows everything about film. He's a HD specialist. I think he'll probably correct me on that, but he does a lot of things for big movies, and he's directed a few incredible films, and he's been kind enough to cast my ugly butt in a couple of those films. So I love the guy. We go back. He's actually one of my real Hollywood friends,
And I can't say that about many people in Hollywood. I actually really, really like Prince. And I've always felt like he was a real dude and not just a work connection. And he's got a couple great films out that you should absolutely see. We're going to show you the trailers for him later on. But anything else you want to chat about this week besides Guilty Trump? I mean, what do you think do you think it's going to have an effect on anything? Personally, I don't think it's his.
I watch both sides of the media, right? So
yeah, Legacy Zach
MSNBC and
says he'll
Fox.
never do time. Of course, I don't think they're not going to give him jail time. I'd love if they did, though. That'd be fun.
Yeah, he won't get jail time. But
No.
they keep saying, it's corrupt and Biden is directing all of this. Biden's son, by the way, is going on trial next week on federal charges, which the president could pardon, but has said, I'm not. Just like I'm not getting involved in Trump's trial, I'm not getting involved in my son's trial. If he's found guilty, he's found guilty. If there's a punishment, there's a punishment. So, if Biden really is this corrupt person driving Trump. Now, all politicians are corrupt to some degree, and I'm not, making excuses. I'm just saying I don't think that Biden, he's not directing the Justice Department to persecute Trump any more than he is his own son, but he's taking a hands-off approach. Now, if Trump gets reelected, I don't think it'll be the same way. I think he'll pardon his ass every way he can, except for, state crimes, which he can't. I think he'll certainly direct his Justice Department to go after his political foes.
I think sure.
We're in for. And Biden has done just the opposite. I mean, he could pardon his son tomorrow.
Hildebrand says it's logical for Trump to be in a jail cell in a orange jumpsuit with his orange hair. Oh, it'd be such a great image.
He'd be invisible. I don't think it'll happen. I just don't. He won't do any time.
No.
The worst thing he'll get is probation. And
so tell me, because you're a smart guy and I'm not. Tell me, he's got 2 more trials coming up. What are those for?
Yeah. Well, the one in Georgia is election subversion. The find me 11,000 some odd votes that he needs. So that's the Georgia one. And the Florida one that's coming up is the documents that he took out of the White House, the classified documents that he had no business.
The classified documents thing. Yeah. So you think once he's guilty of all 3 of these 74 counts, do you think they'll go after Bush Jr. and Cheney for treason and starting a false war, and we'll start just arresting presidents left and right?
No, I think this is very unique. And let me tell you why. When they noticed the documents were missing, for example, they went to Trump and they said, "Hey, these are missing. Please give them back." Here's the difference. When Biden was vice president, he also, he says inadvertently, who knows, but he had some classified documents. The minute it was discovered, he said, he alerted the government. He said, "Oh, I found classified documents at my residence. I have them. How shall I give them back to you? I want to give them back to you." Right? Trump did the opposite. Trump said, no, I'm keeping, he hid them. He lied about having them. There was a difference. There's a difference.
Is it really? Right? Well, I got these Hollywood eye drops that are like, they're powerful. They're like ice eye drops, and they really do take the red out. But boy, it's almost like doing a line of speed in the old days. When you remember when you did speed?
Oh yeah, because I always did lines of coke or speed or whatever. No, never done that. I'm the goody two shoes of this family.
But it's like a rush. It's like ice just spiked into your eyes. So this week, Trump, fuck him. Biden, fuck him. Like I say every weekend, vote for women, vote for independence, and fucking vote, you retards. Right. I have our producer, Cassie, he doesn't vote. And he bitches about, he's like, if you vote, you're participating in their system. I'm like,
no, that's not. I say it's useless to participate because they already, like, when they talk about rigged voting, the whole system's rigged.
Well, of course the system's rigged and broken.
Like with the presidential debate committee,
trying.
Like only Republicans and Democrats can debate. Like all that's, I mean.
Look, I just wanted to make fun of you. I didn't want you to put in your 2 cents.
I am going to put in my 2 cents, though. Vote harder.
Vote,
maybe
man.
It'll work next time.
At least
stay the line.
At least vote for the we legalized medical marijuana in California when I was like 18 years old, and I collected signatures and I busted my ass and I hollered from my hemp booth and we legalized that shit. And then I watched that sweep over the entire country to like 37 states or something. And now it's off of the Schedule 1 list. You know, we're making progress. So I
now
believe
they
in
can
voting.
tax it.
Yeah, tax the shit out of it.
No, oh my God. I'm going back on mute.
All right. So we did politics. You know, I don't know what else happened this week, but there is a possibility, and it's she's already said yes, but you know, she's a very busy lady. We could have Stormy Daniels on the show in a few weeks when she gets back from the UK. But we can't spend the whole time, or not even much of the time, talking about Trump, because I'm sure she's sick of talking about Trump. We're going to talk about the paranormal with her when she comes on, and that'll be a whole lot of fun. But this week we've got Prince Bagdasarian. He started his love of the internet world, interment world. I fucked it up already. At the age of 10, when he aspired to be a magician and an illusionist. I didn't know that Prince was a sleight of hand guy. I wonder if he's got a magic trick for us. By the age of 12, he and his sister Rose were performing as special guests in a variety of television programs, magazines, and newspapers, including Genii, the magic industry's professional magazine. Maybe he even keeps a few of those tricks, like I said, up his sleeve. So join us and find out. All questions are welcomed and encouraged. Prince is you know, top of the line movie director. He's a badass. He's got a new movie called Dashing Through the Snow that will be coming out soon, a Christmas action comedy. I've seen the trailer. We can't share it with you this week because he wants to sell it to some bigger companies, and as soon as they buy it, they'll show it. But here he is, Prince Bagdasarian, everybody. Bagdasarian. How are you, Prince?
Welcome.
Hey, guys.
What's up, brother?
Well. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
This setup.
Oh, happy Pride Month, by the way. I forgot. It just started, what, 2 days ago?
What are you saying that right when Prince comes on?
I know. What does that have to do with me? Maybe it's the colors we have demonstrating all around.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe
I forgot to mention it in the news portion. I'm not saying anything.
He sees you for like 2 seconds and he's like, Happy Pride Month.
Are you single? No, I'm kidding.
He's from Hollywood. He must be. Look at his cute little face.
Girl, you need to quit.
I was at Gracias Madre yesterday. Have you guys been to that restaurant in West Hollywood? I had no idea it was Pride Month until I got there.
Until you got there. That happened to me in West Hollywood too. Last time I was in LA, I went to the rooftop restaurant, and I don't know what it's called. Yeah, I think so. And it didn't used to be a gay bar. But when I got up there, I saw all the rainbows, and I looked around. I saw the bartenders wearing the rainbows and the flags, and I looked around the club or the rooftop bar, and literally everyone there, and this isn't an LGBTQ thing, this is a Hollywood thing, but literally every guest that I saw had some kind of plastic surgery of some kind, and they were all like super rich and full back, and I was like, wow, this town is Hollywood, man. This place is strange.
Well, West Hollywood doesn't count. That's Pride. It's Pride year in West Hollywood. There, you know, Pride Month is everywhere else.
Oh, I love West Hollywood, and I love Pride.
I do too.
And, you know, my editor for my new project is gay, and I'm bi. You know, I've diddled around a little bit, so you know, I'm not against it at all. My co-host Tyson Strasberg, he likes to. Right?
Yeah, if you look carefully, you'll see the slap marks on my chin. Yeah.
A gay couple, Michael Urie and Ryan Spahn were in the last film that you were in.
Yeah, Michael Urie and Ryan Spahn. I didn't know they were together. I actually remember that from shooting Abducted. And Ryan Spahn, so this is how far me and Prince go back, right? Ryan Spahn was Borg #1, the evil Borg in the first Star Trek episode I ever did. Mm-hmm. And I didn't see Ryan for like 20 years until I did Prince's movie Abducted. And Ryan was one of the leads in that movie with Michael Urie. And they were wonderful. They both were wonderful. And he'd become such a better actor. And it was fun. We had this little shootout. You should definitely check out Abducted. Where can people see Abducted, by the way, Prince?
I think it's on Tubi now. I think they have a special licensing deal with Tubi after it got pulled off from Showtime.
Yeah, it was on Showtime forever, but it's on Tubi now.
Yeah,
And of course, you can probably get it on Amazon, right? If you pay for it.
maybe.
Yeah, probably.
If it's exclusive to Tubi, then probably not.
Okay, but Tubi's free, so
Yeah,
you can watch it there.
yeah, it's
If you
free.
want to pay for it, try Amazon, because then Prince gets a nickel or a half a penny or something like that.
Oh, we can talk about who gets the nickel on that one. Yeah.
Hollywood's so fucked up. All right, so let's show people a little bit about Prince. Let's show Prince's reel. This is his director's reel, and it'll show you a little bit of some of his films and some of his work. That's a hot shit reel, man. That's fucking cool.
Thank you. This is the first time anybody's actually seen this. So whoever's watching your show today is the first
Right
time
on.
the actual first footage from Dashing Through the Snow that was actually in that reel.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of it. What was it like working with Snoop?
Snoop. It was
Yeah.
it was fun. It was fun. There was a long waiting period because I shot that video during COVID times. I think it was a year after COVID. And we had to do so much, man. It's like we had to go through hoops to get into his compound, do all of these crazy security measures. There was rifles at the gate, and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And managed to do it on a skeleton crew. Managed to make a Christmas song music video for him.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, it was cool.
With who?
It was a Canadian artist. He was basically, it's his song, but they collaborated together.
Featured?
Featured, exactly. And unfortunately, they didn't let Snoop come out of the compound, his place. And so we needed to go there and actually do the shoot there. So it was tough. It was tough, but we got it done.
See, these are the kind of things that you got to do when you're doing indie film in Hollywood. You've got to find a way to make it happen. And what I like a lot about Prince is he shoots these kick-ass action films with cars flipping over and guns getting shot and stuntman diving off of stuff. And he does it for a fraction of the cost that a lot of these action movies get made. And I hope Prince gets one of these $100 million action movies soon, because his movies really kind of, they hold the bar up there, and he does some crazy stuff to get it done. I'll tell you that. But it's still amazing that he pulls it off, and I got much respect for him.
You know what blew me away really quick? One of the biggest movies last year, towards the end of the year, was Godzilla -1. I went and I watched it. I loved it. Probably one of my favorite Godzilla movies. When I was told they did that for 11 million, I couldn't believe it. How do you do a film on that scale? And it was beautiful, by Toho production. It was beautiful. 11 million? I mean, it looked as good as a $100 million film here in the US. How do you make such a good film on a budget?
It's just like the Blumhouse films, like Blumhouse makes a lot of these films, and they're very identical to each other, and they have a pretty much a bracket of budget that they can't exceed, and they put all of these films and these stories, and they don't do a film that doesn't fit into that bracket. And it makes sense, it makes sense. And then their films, they're financed for 5 million or so, or what have you, 10 million, and they make hundreds of millions, around the world, international.
They found the business model too, because they make deals with certain, CGI production houses, and hey, we're going to make 5 movies with you, so give us a deal, and all those kind of things that they do to make. I love Blumhouse movies. I just watched something last night. I think Blumhouse did X, didn't they? If I'm not mistaken.
X, they did do X, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
thought that movie was.
Coming out. That's a sequel to that.
Yeah, I saw Pearl, and then there's another sequel coming out. But they do really good horror movies on the cheap, and I think people need to know also just how difficult filmmaking is. There's a huge contingency of Americans out there that just don't really realize that filmmaking is a really expensive thing to do. The cameras are expensive, the lenses are expensive, the rentals are expensive, the crew is expensive, the cars, the costumes, the sets you have to build. Everything costs money, and then you've got a crew of 35 people that you've got to pay, usually $250 to $300 a day at the bare minimum. So it's really incredible when indie films come out that kick ass. And
it surprised me how many takes when I was on the set of Star Crew with you. I mean, every shot there's, long shot, close shot, medium shot, from this angle, from that angle, over and over and over. I didn't realize how many, you think, it's only half an hour. How long does it take? And it takes a long time.
Long
But
time.
From an outsider coming into the studio and seeing all this happen in real time, I was blown away. Yeah, if you don't know, you don't know.
No, but
I'm expensive. The more takes you do, it's more expensive. Cost time wise, real wise. Back in the day, they used to shoot original camera negatives, and the negatives were expensive. It was film.
Right.
You're pulling through it. So before it was okay. Now it's like unlimited amounts of. Some filmmakers do unlimited amounts of takes, and it becomes a needle in the haystack. The performance gets lost. So me personally, I try to keep it to a minimum of at least 2 to 3 takes. But if we got it, we got it. We don't have to do another 10 more. Especially if you know what you're looking for. So
no doubt. There's like a couple filmmakers that still shoot on film because they have hundreds of millions of dollars. Michael Mann, he'll shoot like 150 takes every time just because he thinks he's going to get some nuance in some take that he likes. I don't understand that mindset. I'd still love to do a Michael Mann movie, in case you're tuning in. But anyway, so let's show
Michael Mann. It's funny how you mentioned Michael Mann. He actually, I idolized his films growing up.
They're great.
My dad watched Steve with me the first time, and again, this is not a film that a kid should be watching, but I admired heist films, and so one of the first films I made, Abstraction, which you were in, was a heist film. And from then on, I've written 3-4 different heist films. So one comes to fruition sooner than later.
Dennis says most people think films raise their money and they should come out 2 to 4 months later. Yeah, that's not how it works, and I wish people knew that. The actual statistic is it takes either 7 to 10 years from an idea, a concept, all the way to a finished feature film. That's the normal time length. People do it faster, of course, if they've got money and they've got some luck on their side, but that's the average.
Unless it's a sequel or a prequel or something like that. We like that and expedite it.
Yeah. So let's show people a couple more of your films. Let's show the trailer for Abstraction, the heist movie he was just talking about. Can people see Abstraction still on Amazon or some?
I think it's still on Amazon. I also think it's free on Tubi as well.
Also Tubi.
Tubi's taken over. Sony.
Paramount owns it, right? Oh, Sony owns it.
Sony, yeah. Okay. So it should be a good licensing deal. Yeah, it's free. You just watch.
So check out Abstraction. Here we go. Roll it.
What happened back there, huh? They got shot.
Job you guys pulled in the city? It's all over the news.
He has no respect for you. I don't even know why you even work for his ass.
Because we can't only survive on jobs like this, Gary. We're gonna lay low for a long time. My name is Tommy.
Scarlett, nice to meet you.
I just happen to know a place that has the best blueberry pancakes. Thinking maybe I could take you sometime.
Tommy, plenty of people in town begging for this job.
This place turned into a ghost town.
What are we planning on doing, Tommy? What if I told you that there was a small window of opportunity? One that would help us all out.
So what's this all about?
Well, it seems like Scarlett has come up with an idea for a job for us. It could change our lives.
The item that I'm looking for is priceless.
What we got right here is an opportunity, and it's on the timer.
I don't know, Tommy.
$500,000 for this.
Gary, this is a chance for a clean slate. You can put this all behind you, man. Start fresh. I need you with me on this, brother.
When all this is over, we can take a trip somewhere. Just you and me.
You're looking for a seller of a painting. Persephone Reborn.
All right, so Abstraction, kick-ass heist movie, really good. Everybody should go check it out on Tubi. The other thing about Abstraction, what was I going to say? Oh, where'd you get the masks that those guys wore during the heist?
We made them. We actually molded it off of Richard Manriquez and Hunter Ives' faces, and we made them. Thomas remembers Thomas Supernaut?
Soprano.
Yeah, pronouncing his last name wrong, probably, of course, as usual. But he was great, man. That guy,
great guy.
Awesome. He managed to do all of that, and he did Fifth Passenger with us later, the following couple of years, with all the alien stuff, and he worked on Star Trek, obviously, back then as well. And it was made out of latex, and it was very, very uncomfortable. I remember Hunter, who was the lead in that film. Him and Richard could not see well throughout the entire shoot, so we had to, constantly take them off, put them back on, and there was a lot of downtime of fiddling with these masks and how they would fit into their, shirts and costumes that they were wearing.
They the full-on skin tight sort of
masks? Yeah. So the idea I got originally for that heist of them, basically the reason they're wearing these masks is because they're wearing these ski masks, and then when they pull off the ski masks, they're wearing these skin masks, these skin latex masks, which are double disguises. So they use these skin masks to walk out of the place they're doing this heist from, which is a art gallery. And so the idea I got originally was from an article from the UK where this guy rolled up into a bank, and he freaking robbed the place with these skin masks, and they thought this guy was black, but because he was wearing a black guy's mask, and he had like facial hair and everything.
Was it the red goatee guy? Because I just saw this documentary. Did they come in as NYPD, or was it London?
Oh, that's a different one. I didn't know what you're talking about. No, that's not.
These guys wore, I forget the name of the company, but they make the same type of masks that you got made by Soprano, but they specialize in here's the 20 that we make, buy them, and these three guys put them on, bought NYPD shirts, and they got the idea from, what was that Ben Affleck heist movie? It was great. The Town. And so they saw The Town and they copied that, or they copied your movie. I don't know. One or the other. But
copied the movie for sure. Yeah. I copied The Town, they copied me. So
yeah. But those masks are way cool. I thought that was one of the things I liked about that film. I like the whole movie, but I would show my scene from the picture, but I don't know if people want to see that shit. But I'm gonna show my
it's intense. But you don't have a lot of dialogue in that scene, but it's an intense scene. It's one of my favorite scenes.
Well, this is what I want to say about you. As far as your filmmaking goes, you're a really good filmmaker, because not only do you do action really well, but you also do tension, and you slow the film down at the right points, and you speed it up at the right points, and you have a good idea about structure. Your writing is got structure, and you also, you keep us guessing with tension and then just all out action. And this scene has a lot of tension in it, and I was really proud to work on it. I got to work with Eric Roberts. I had met him a couple of years before, and he was the sweetest guy. But when he came on set, he was a total dick. Fucking guy, man. He wouldn't read the script. He asked Prince to tell him the lines instead of having memorized them. But to be fair, for somehow when we booked him, my manager didn't tell him, so he was literally on a plane to like London or the UK.
No, Manu, it wasn't your manager's fault. It was his agent's fault. Your manager had no idea.
Your manager didn't blow it. That's good.
Your manager was great. He actually.
So my manager saved the day.
The day, yes, he brought him to the warehouse. We shot the scene, but he was at the airport.
Yeah, I literally called him while he was on a plane with his wife headed to somewhere, or I think over New York. And he was like, "Oh, seriously, you're gonna make me get off a plane and come shoot a movie?" Yeah, all right. And he did, and he actually gave a pretty damn good performance. So, and I had a blast working with him just because he's
surprisingly that year the best. That was one of the best films he was in. Everything else went downhill kind of for him after that. And because it was almost I think it was the same year, if not after The Dark Knight. He was in The Dark Knight. He was doing really well.
Yeah, Every once in a while, they give him a nice little supporting role in a big movie. I love Eric. He's really a kind person. On set, he can be a little bit of a handful, but I really do like Eric Roberts. I'm not trying to talk shit. But here's my scene. If you guys want to see it, here it is.
Nikki. Whoa.
Hey, do you know him?
It just looks like some old customer, man. I don't know.
Step the folk back outside and go home. Did you hear what I said, old man?
Hell yeah. That was me.
Someone said the twitches.
Wow.
never heard that.
He's a committed actor. You gained a lot of weight for that role.
I was buffed up at the time. I had a little muscle at the time. You can see the muscle. You can see the muscle in my face, right?
Okay, we'll call it muscle.
That's called steroids, baby. Steroids. And human growth hormone. Gives you that square jaw and that buff physique. I wasn't fat. I looked good.
It also makes you bleed a little bit from the nose too.
The cat thought you were fat.
That cat's fat. All right. So let's get through the Hollywood stuff because I want to start asking Prince some questions about real life and get deep with this guy. He's got another movie out. We talked about it before. It's called Abducted. Show the trailer. Show my scene. And then we'll get into it with Prince and get some of our audience in here to ask him some questions as well.
Someone came in the house.
We have a possible suspect fleeing on foot. I need a hard target search started immediately.
Where's my daughter? Where is she?
We got a couple of maggots rolling up on us.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Lock and load. Take care of him. You got it. There's one on your left. Fucking get him right down. Don't let him come around.
We got 2 more back there.
What do I pay you guys for? What the fuck is going on here, man? Come up behind. Come on, way back. Come up quick. I'm out. I'm out. Come on. Here we go. Hey, man, I'm gonna speed up. Hang on. Get the wheel! Get the wheel!
Yeah, man.
When you're shooting those guns, are there blanks or is the fire flashpoint just CGI or how does that work?
No, they're real bullets, and the guys on the motorcycles have to dodge that shit, and I have to make sure not to hit them.
I mean, is there CGI for the little flash, or are they blanks with gunpowder?
No, it's real. They were dodging. Yeah.
I mean, the bikes weren't back there, but I was shooting a real AK out the window.
Alec Baldwin screwed it up for everybody, but
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, we could get away with anything, but then point blank, he just shoots his fucking producer and his poor DP.
Oh,
You're supposed to aim a little bit away from the motorcycle, and so try not to hit the lead actor. But
well, it's so, but you get hazard pay.
Pedestrians behind them, right?
Oh yeah. Try not to hit the pedestrians too. But then you're driving fast, so if you hit a pedestrian, you just keep going. The whole crew just keeps going. We move to a different location.
Actually, that's why you were driving fast. I see.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Get out of here! Get out of here!
Yeah. The truth of the matter is we did a lot of crazy shit on that film, to tell you the truth. A lot of crazy shit. I won't talk about it because it might get us in real trouble, but we did a lot of crazy shit in that movie. We didn't shoot real bullets. I'm fucking with people. But those are CG flashes that Prince's CG guy or the special effects supervisor or Prince himself put in there.
For that one, I did it.
Yeah, Prince probably did it in some software program that kicks ass. But it looked real to me. Sounded good to me. Sound effects? Do you have a sound designer, or did you do that too?
No. The sound designer did all the bells and whistles. Without the sound, it looks terrible. The CG looks terrible too.
I bet. Yeah,
amazing.
Hey, next time you do a comedy, you remember me. I'm not only funny, I'm funny looking.
Tell him your hick joke. Oh no, we've told it too many times on the show. We've told it.
I was right in the middle of a drink. I'm not doing the hick thing.
All right. But I do want to give Prince props for just hiring good actors in this movie, and not just because he's hired me a couple of times, but he has a really good, an eye for talent. All of his cast, he gets great actors. And when you see indie films in general, with budgets of anywhere from hundreds of thousands to a few million, a lot of times, the supporting actors and even the lead actors sometimes aren't great. And Prince has an eye for people that can actually work. And watching his films, Abstraction, Abducted, both of them are really good films. And I can't think of an actor in there that turned me the wrong way. They're really he gets the best out of his talent. Not only I'm going to stop kissing your ass in a second, buddy, but not only in front of the camera, but behind the camera. He's got a great crew too. But do you have a DP that you use normally, or do you DP as well?
No, I've used different DPs, but I always try to be involved because I am a DP myself as well, but I don't consider myself one. It's a hat that you can't really wear when you're directing and also producing and also a writer, so it's something that you have to take you have to take that hat off and give it to the actual DP. But for Abstraction, it was tough because it was a very minimal budget, and there was some students that started off, coming on board, and we eventually hired a student who did a really good job, and he actually ended up winning I think a best cinematography award at one or two festivals that we went to. Out of the 200 something we applied to, we went to about at least 24 of them. So
for Abducted or for Abstraction?
For Abstraction.
What was his name?
Jordan McNeil.
Yeah, it's tough for me too. I almost that guy I worked with, Jordan McNeil.
That was like it was over a decade ago. So
yeah, it's tough.
Jason did the Abducted. That one was all him. He did a really good job. I didn't have too much to do on that set because it was a bigger budgeted film, and he was in charge of that department. So we had department heads, and we had him controlling and doing all that. And then Goodell, Jason Goodell was his last name. And but I did shoot second unit. So every time we were shooting guerrilla on the side, we were going to do pickups and things like that, I was DPing those myself. So it is what it is. It saves budget, it saves time, and it just, he was on another project as well. So it's just how you have to stitch things together when you're doing it in the scales,
So yeah, Prince also came on to, if you guys have seen Fifth Passenger, and if you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's a sci-fi film that me and Scotty Baker and Morgan Lariah produced along with Prince and my buddy Timothy Gagliardo and a bunch of other folks. But we actually were rated the top 10 B movies of all B movies ever, sci-fi B movies ever by some magazine. We were number 10, but shit, we made the list, right?
Man, to be in the Heights with Ed Wood, that's amazing.
Oh, and hey, we were way better than that. Come on. And Ed Wood's wonderful in his own right, but
you know what? It's Fifth Passenger ended up on the front page of StarTrek.com. Not a lot of indie films can say that,
That's
Kickstarter. So
I'm giving Manu shit, but I liked it. I watched it, and you had half of Star Trek in the movie.
Yeah, and we had Doug Jones, Marina Sirtis, a lot of people. You know what? Somebody said earlier, one of our fans on X said it's all about the writing. And Fifth Passenger was a really smart little movie. It was self-contained. It took place in a little escape pod that was lost in space, and their air was running out. And it has a nice little twist at the end. I always tell people that watch Fifth Passenger, if they can get past the first 12 minutes of CG mistakes that we made and just hold on tight, the story will take you through the rest of the movie, and you'll actually have a really good time. Dave just said something, I missed it. But talk a little bit about behind the scenes of Fifth Passenger. You ran B-Cam. You also were DIT for us. I think you did a lot of editing for us. You edited the movie basically for the first round. So
I did do the
you can tell the truth too. Was I a total dick on that set?
No, everybody else was.
Sweet.
I can't believe Doug Jones was.
Doug is one of the sweetest. Doug is one of the best actors you can ever work with.
I could probably say a lot of, not a lot, but at least one or two negative things from every project, right? So there's something. But from Fifth Passenger, I actually don't recall any at all.
You don't remember me, Christian, bailing out on set with Morgan? Were you there that day?
I was absent that day. I must have been at Sundance at some VIP party or something. And I was Fifth Passenger this weekend.
Yeah.
No,
I missed that day.
I don't.
I lost my mind, man. If that stuff got out, like if I was like a real movie star, I lost it. I was like screaming at her, "Do you care about this movie? We're on scene together." And I had my hand up against the wall. We are in love. Our characters are fucking in love.
I remember this.
Look at my eyes. Work with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Manu, you're scaring me. You're like that on set.
No, not usually, but it's a long story.
You're pretty good on Star Crew, except for the one guy that wouldn't shave his head. Remember, we all had to shave our heads, and the one guy didn't want to do it, and he said, "I'm coming in another movie, and I need to have my hair." And you were like, "Shave his head or get him to fuck off the set." It was hilarious.
What did we do? Put a hoodie on him or something?
Well, yeah, you put a hood over him. Yeah. But that was funny. I was glad I was there to see you.
On Star Crew, everybody that volunteered to be one of these zombots, these robots, we had them all shave their head. And I thought it was so cool. I actually thought it was like a bonding experience because I got to know all you guys from
I'm not shaving my head.
Oh yeah. I'm still friends with a couple of them, Corey and Husky and some of them. Yeah, we all had to come and I live in rural Ramona. I was scared I was going to come back home and make friends I didn't want, being bald and white and in a place where I live. So, I mean, I was nervous about this, as a gay man, that's not a good look. So, but it was a great experience.
Wait a second. What are you saying? You're saying the KKK doesn't have any gay guys in it? It does.
They're not huge fans of gay people. You can look at the history where,
Sure, but I still think guys that are that macho about hating on the gays are probably closeted, usually. And they're like, "Yeah, I hate them guys," and then they go home and they're like, "I hate you too."
Yeah, they're big old bottoms. Don't let them.
Like, vegans that lie about being vegan, and then they turn around and go eat a double.
Double.
Talking all that nonsense.
All right, so talk a little bit about Dashing Through the Snow. Tell people about it and what it's about and when they might be able to see it.
Sure, I'll give you a little backstory since we do have time. So my producing partner and actor Hunter Ives and I had written this script called Uncontrolled. It was a heist film, action heist film, kind of like a Mad Max on the road kind of a post heist action chase film in the vein of like Duel. Remember Duel from?
I love Duel. Yeah, so the truck chasing that guy in his car.
Like Baby Driver mixed with a little bit of Duel, that kind of thing.
Fun.
So we wrote that film, and I've been trying to get that thing off the ground for several years, and we finally did, and we finally got it off the ground in late 2019, and in March of 2020, we got greenlit to shoot in Ohio, and unfortunately, we all know what happened in 2020, especially in Ohio. There you go.
No, those are some real acting chops right there. Yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can duplicate this. I guess I'm not a good actor.
I got COVID 3 times, man.
I got it once. It was not fun.
My lungs are still fucked up from COVID. But anyway, sorry, Prince. COVID happened.
Yeah, COVID happened, and we lost most of what we worked so hard to get. A year and a half, and we were waiting for the tax credit in Ohio. Long story short, on that end, tried to pick up the pieces after that. Didn't work out. Went to another production company. Eventually, some people said, "Okay, we'll come in. We'll redo the financing. We'll do this." And it's just, Hollywood is just a lot of these guys and not so much of the doers. And you got to just, you got to go through the weeds and just try to find the right few, right?
Yeah.
And once you do, things work out. It might not be multiple films, but it might just at least be a few types of collaborations. And so, I got halfway through, and I hate to say give up is the word. So, because I didn't really want to give up. So I started looking at other scripts and thinking about other, avenues of going down, maybe doing another film, maybe doing something self-contained, all these things. And then the strike happened. The writer's strike happened, and that kind of pushed us back again. And it's just like, well, I guess this movie's never going to be made. It's just not. So Hunter and I decided that let's look at some of these other scripts that we have that we didn't write. So Richard, my buddy Richard Manriquez was like, "Hey, my buddy Steven had sent me this script. It's a Christmas movie. It's an action comedy. It's right down your alley. Maybe it's something you want to check out." I'm like, "Christmas movie, comedy? I don't do comedies. It's just is." But he's like, "It's funny, dude. You guys are funny. You guys can write comedy." And I'm like, "Yeah, but okay, fine. I'll read it." So I read it, and I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious, and I don't really laugh at scripts that are this kind of genre, which is action. And like there's a lot of films with on Netflix that are action buddy comedies. They're just kind of schlocky. It's not funny. It's forced comedy. It's just lame. So what, you got something to show me?
No. I just saw a really good Christmas comedy recently, and I can't remember the name.
Anyway, so we ended up I talked to Steven, the writer, and we ended up taking the script and optioning it, and we ended up rewriting it with Hunter, and we got Dashing Through the Snow. We pretty much banded together. We got a couple people. Remember Sasha?
Yeah, I know Sasha. Sasha made Hell on the Border with me. Great.
Yeah. Recently, you guys did that. Sasha Yalone and James Giacomo pretty much helped out, and we put all this stuff together, and we just banded together and did it, man. It's just, we didn't wait for the financiers, we didn't wait for the studios, we didn't wait for other producers to come on and say, hey, and we cast it, and we shot at my cabin in the woods and Hunter's cabin in Arrowhead, and we got it done, and
awesome.
It's badass. And
I saw a Christmas action film comedy called Violent Night. Have you seen that?
Violent Night, yes.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Christmas action movie, but a little bit of horror too, a little bit of fantasy.
Yeah, with David Harbour. Yeah.
So I love that movie. It touched my heart too.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Because that was self-contained inside that house,
Yeah.
But it has the sci-fi elements. He's Santa and all this jazz and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty much that. It's a heist film. That's a heist film too, inside a house. Here, it's in a way, the undertone is kind of like there's a biblical undertone, to the whole thing. It's like it's Christmas Eve. The girl who's pregnant in the house, her name is Mary. And she's pregnant with baby Jesus. And, you got the savior, who's the U.S. Marshal, who comes in, tries to protect her, and then the three wise men show up in the form of a hitman and his elves, and then you got a bounty hunter. So it's like all these the chaos ensuing around the cabin, leading up to a cool finale conclusion on the film. But
so Prince, do you ever act in any? So you direct, you write, you produce. Do you act? Have you been in films? Have you acted?
I don't act, but I do have cameos in all of the films.
He always shows up in a little, but it's
but funny you asked that. But in Dashing, I decided to actually do a supporting role because we're so limited on budget. I was like, we can't get this guy. He plays a camera guy. He's the director of, because the bounty hunter. Okay, so the bounty hunter in the film that comes to the cabin is trying to get this reward for to get the pregnant girl as well, and the U.S. Marshal has to protect them. The bounty hunter has a team with him who are shooting a reality show on YouTube, like a live stream. So he's doing it for the clicks, and he's also doing it for the bounty, right? So I'm the guy who's filming his grabs, and so hence I ended up doing the role in the film. It's funny, it's hilarious. We have a bunch of random ad-libbing or random improv things we just put together, and it's cool. It's natural. It's very organic. It's just us, hanging out and doing these scenes, and it's a lot of funny stuff.
That's the fun thing about comedies too, and sort of the frustrating thing too, because you got to let your actors loose in a comedy. You've got to let them go off script. But sometimes you get all these great jokes, but then you have to cover them. Like you said earlier, you got to cover all the different angles to actually make it play and make it edit right. So you get.
Can you imagine doing a Robin Williams? Oh my God!
Well, that'd be horrible. It'd stink. The corpse and the bones, and I mean, you couldn't say anything. I mean, what the fuck would you?
And it's also comedy doesn't play.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? We dig them up for a couple hours and then show them, and
I mean, back when he was alive,
yeah,
that would be kind of hard, like Mork and Mindy and stuff, because a lot of that was ad lib, and then you're right, you got to make that work in the different angles, and how are you going to tell the same joke again and have it be as organic as it was the first time you told it? It was hilarious, that's got to be hard.
Did you
Yeah,
find
It's also
the
got to
best
be
stuff-
fun. too.
I've noticed the best stuff is all of the improv. You know, it's literally
Yeah.
like stuff in the trailer now that we have that we can't show today, but once it comes out, you'll see a lot of that is the actual ad libbing and the improv stuff. It's not scripted. It just works. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And also when you have a buddy comedy, a lot of them bounce off of each other, and when you have good chemistry between the two, and our
Yeah.
two girls had a good chemistry, it worked. You know,
Golden Girls was some of the best chemistry I've ever seen in my life. With those old broads. They
You're
were
going all the
so
way back to Golden
hilarious.
Girls. They were hilarious, actually.
They were hilarious.
They were, yeah.
I'm guessing that a lot of that was, well, they probably did even back then. But back then they were very strict about sticking on script. But I
But
bet
who else could say slut and get that past the censors, right?
Yeah, they
but it
couldn't
was
stop
them.
probably,
So
those three girls,
right.
They were pretty amazing. I love all the outtakes. I was thinking about just improv in movies the other day, and CIA. What the fuck was that called? CIA. It was The Rock, and it was that little, what's his name? The little guy, Kevin Hart. Yeah, and The Rock. It was CIA movie, and it's a hilarious movie to begin with. It's CIA something. I can't remember what it's called, but the outtakes in that movie. If you Google Kevin Hart and The Rock CIA outtakes, you'll get it.
It was Central Intelligence.
Central Intelligence, that's what it was called. But really funny, and they have this great. In the end credits, they show like 3 minutes of outtakes from the film, all of which could have been used. And that's the tough thing as a director too in a comedy. Sometimes you'll have so many jokes that work, but you can only pick one. And you got to choose it, and it's really hard to do that. So I always like it, and I hope you do this, Prince. When you find the distributor, and look, I've seen the trailer. You're gonna find him. I'm sure your movie's gonna be big. I think this is gonna be your biggest movie. But I hope you do an outtake reel at the end so we can see some of the stuff you didn't use. Because I always love when comedies.
Yes.
Give us
gotta
that.
have the act. You have that with Medea. You have it with Grumpy Old Men. Anytime they do that,
Oh,
in
the
the
Grumpy
scene,
Old Men outtakes are so good with Burgess Meredith.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, hilarious.
Yeah, but okay, that's it's interesting you said that, but it's not that kind of a film. So a lot of these action comedies don't do those outtakes anymore. And
Oh, you're right, because it's an action film too. Yeah.
right. So it does get dark at some point. So if I go do an outtake reel at the end, it's not like it's not those kinds of films, right? It's not a very type,
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe, but there will be one.
Maybe
sure.
you could give them just like one little Easter egg at the end of the best outtake you got.
Well, that might be my cameo at the end again, just so we can do a spin-off, just based off my character.
Did you set it up for a sequel?
It is set up for a sequel. Yes.
Right on. Right on.
It's set up for a
Good
sequel.
luck with that. All right, so let's talk about real life.
Let's talk about real life.
Before we bring some of our people on. Oh, hey, I forgot to say this. Everybody that's watching, like and subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Look down in our subscription. If you like the show, you want to support the show, go to gemsticks.com and buy a gemsticks. We'll have more stuff in the description later. And coming up soon, we're going to have hats and shirts and all that stuff. But right now, just like and subscribe and help us keep this show going. Real life. Do you know anything about the paranormal? Are you into UFOs or UAPs or keeping track of any of that kind of stuff?
I'm not, but I used to just be a fan of Spielberg stuff back then. That's it.
Yeah. But you don't believe in ghosts or you're not interested by aliens studying us and abducting us?
I know there's aliens out there. I don't think they look like anything that we are accustomed to or in our movies and whatnot. I'm sure other people agree with me, but I don't think I don't think they look like monsters and whatnot. I think they're just humans in just a different form.
I think so too.
And we just can't get to each other and whatnot. But I don't think they're here watching us secretly.
Are you religious?
No, I wouldn't say so.
No. Okay. So there's this guy named Billy Carson, right? I was watching him this week on YouTube, and Billy Carson is basically what's the word? An expert on historical documents going all the way back to ancient Sumeria, the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas, all the religious texts, and farther back where all the religious texts are stolen from. And what Billy Carson says is the Anunnaki, I'm sure you've heard of the Anunnaki, right? Are actually an alien race from the Pleiades that was in a big galactic war that came to Earth about 300,000, 400,000 years ago, and were running from that war. They didn't want to deal with it anymore. They had planet-destroying machines in the Pleiades. They found Earth. They came here, and they saw Homo erectus, or whatever we were at that time. They gave us a little genetic kick in the ass, and then they created in the old Sumerian texts. They created this guy called Adamun. And Adamun couldn't breed. If you know anything about genetics, if a tiger fucks a lion, a liger comes out, but that liger can't breed, right? So they made Adamun, and he couldn't breed. So Isis, one of these Anunnaki back in the Bible, supposedly took Adam's rib. I think it was more like Adam's jizz, but took Adam's rib, jizz, and put it in her, and actually made a female Adam. And these are from ancient texts that you can look at, from Sumeria and the Emerald texts of 9,000, 7,000 years ago. And basically all the stories from the Bible are borrowed from these ancient stories. And like you said, aliens, what Billy Carson says is aliens are, the Anunnaki did look a lot like us, but they came here, they made man, they made a woman. You got the Cain and Abel story. And then Genesis, the first chapter of the Bible, is the generation of Isis, meaning the Anunnaki girl that put Adamun, Adam, in her belly. And he's got all these fascinating things about how God in the Bible is really just this guy called Enki, one of many gods. And this is the most interesting thing that I saw about Billy Carson that he said, was that the New King James Version of the Bible fucks up a lot of translations. For instance, God in the Bible is actually plural, and they did that on purpose, obviously. But there were all these basically aliens, there's that whole Ancient Aliens program, but Enki and all his buddies made mankind, and they ruled over us as gods all the way to ancient Egypt and Rome, even when they left humans in charge to say that they were gods. And what Billy Carson believes is that we're all the creation of spacefaring civilizations that looked a lot like us. And he's got the evidence to back it up, which is pretty wild. So if you ever get a chance to look at some Billy Carson, you should look at that. But you're not into
a really
ghosts?
long drive around the mountain there, Manu.
Fuck you, man.
Really long. Homo erectus is Homo bordus right now. You really move this.
Well, you're
I'm
just
joking. I'm joking.
Billy Carson,
He's not joking.
I've never seen anything of his. I will look at it. But
Yeah, check him out.
that Anunnaki, but I was thinking about wasn't there going back to film and being involved in film and entertainment? It was Scooby-Doo was supposedly an Anunnaki character. Like, wasn't he supposed to be like wasn't that a thing?
Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
The dog himself?
Yeah.
The dog that smoked weed.
Okay, Raggy. Hey, they hide a lot of shit in Hollywood. And Prince will tell you this. If you go all the way back to the very beginnings of Hollywood and all the guys in charge of all the studios, they were all deep state military guys. You can look this up, like the head of CBS, the head of NBC, all those, the beginning studios when you only had 4, 5, 7 channels. Everybody that was in charge was CIA. And to this day, if you got a big movie and you got millions of dollars, you've got a little CIA influence going on in your story.
Little propaganda with it, right?
Yeah, a little propaganda that comes along with the deal. That's why a lot of people quit and a lot of people get freaked out because they're like, I don't know. I don't know if I can sell my soul to these guys. But I've never ran into those guys because I've never made a $300 million movie. But I have seen some weird shit behind the scenes before. Like I've been to some like high class producer parties where there's some pretty weird shit going on.
Yeah.
Like like there's have you seen some darkness behind the scenes of Hollywood?
Depends on how you define darkness. Sure, the way you described it is a little different than some of the recent ones I've seen.
You got any stories you want to share that were a little weird?
There was I don't know if you guys have seen the new Netflix documentary, Dancing with the Devil.
I have seen. Oh shit! Yes, I forgot about this. I'm such an idiot. Yeah.
There was the producer who financed and made Abducted, the film that we were just talking about. He was apparently running a cult and Shikaya church of some sort in the background. I mean, look, to each their own. He was running a church. He was doing his thing. It's how he made money. Is what he did. Is his passion. But apparently, there's some recent TikTok dancers and stuff, and they were like taken into this web and kept there and not allowed to leave from his church, and they were not allowed to communicate with their families and see their families and whatnot. And I don't know, this documentary just came out about that, and I was oblivious to it and didn't know much about any of that.
Yeah, right.
That sounds super familiar, right?
No,
what about the people that from San Francisco that bought the place in Mexico and nobody could leave? And I forget the name of that cult. But this seems like a recurring
Well,
theme
it's very
happens all the time.
Scientology is a little bit of the same. But I watched this documentary like a week ago, and then I saw the clips to Abducted, and I remember they did a couple clips of Daniel, your lead in Abducted, because he escaped the cult and actually took the head guy's daughter with him, I think, and married her.
They were married. His daughter and them were married, and that's the reason.
They were married already.
That's why he knew of him. And they grew up together, right? He's been in this for 20 years or 30 years or whatever. And but strangely enough, I've been contacted by, like, for example, his sister wrote me, on social media before, asking to speak to him. And this was during the making of the movie or after. We were at a film festival, and I told Daniel, like, hey, your sister's looking for you. She hasn't talked to you. And it was this awkward, don't talk to her. Don't say anything.
Don't talk to my sister again. Don't give her my number.
A lot of these things didn't make any sense up until the point where I saw this documentary, and it, I don't know, just some of it made sense. Some of it didn't. Look, I mean, maybe some of it's fictionalized. It's, dramatized. It's just for the sake of selling a product, a film or series in this case. But
I think this guy took young actors and young dancers into his management company. This is what the documentary was about. Into his management company. But then once he signed them, he would also offer you a place to live. And the guy had some money because he's been running this church forever. And then once you kind of moved in and became a part of his dance team or his movie stars that he was doing a lot of independent films, not just Prince's film. But it seems like he definitely ripped a few of those kids off because they were naive. They didn't know how the thing worked. So basically they would get paid, but then they would, charge 10% tithes to the church out of their paycheck and 10% tithes to this and that, and 20% for your living arrangement.
His son is shooting
20% for your PR. And
was shooting these videos, is still shooting these videos.
TikTok,
He's also getting, he also shot the behind the scenes of a lot of the stuff that we shot on the film. He was there every day. And he's getting a payment too. So everything is being paid according to them. It's going back to Robert.
Yeah. According to the people in this film that are trying to bust him. But I met the dude. I remember meeting him on set that night when we were shooting in the van. I have a couple more scenes in Abstraction, but there was a night we're shooting in a van and I'm taking the abducted kid inside, and Robert was there that night. And I remember meeting him, and I remember thinking he was a really nice guy.
He is a really nice guy. He's a really down to earth. I personally have, videos Robert dancing with my daughter and having a blast because my daughter had a little cameo in the film, and we hung out, and he had stories. He liked to tell a lot of stories and things like that. So it's like, I never saw him as a villain or a bad guy or whatnot. And
no. But that's the thing in Hollywood. You don't know who you're working with. And if somebody finances your movie, what are you going to say no? Especially if you don't know that any of this stuff is going on. So who knows? But I like the guy. I wouldn't work with him after seeing this movie. But man, that's almost a lie. I mean, I'd think about it if he wanted to give me a bunch of money. But
never say never, man.
Yeah, man, money gets to all of us. I think it's the biggest thing wrong with human beings in general. We can be bought really easy, and
well, where's the limit? Weinstein, where do you draw the line?
Well, I don't draw any line. I mean, if Weinstein wanted to jack off in a plant and look at me and he gave me millions of dollars, I'd have no problem with that. But I'm a dude. I'm not like
No.
It's scary when like Weinstein is old. I could knock that fucker out. But if you're like a petite woman and a movie star and you got this big creepy producer asking you to do perverted things, it's a completely different line. I was talking about this earlier on a talk show. I mean, a podcast that I was on earlier about just the difference between, I've had casting directors come on to me and producers come on to me and want a little something extra that I just pushed them off, or I said, no, I'm not interested. I'm not doing the casting couch thing. Cast somebody else. And I manned up and made my choice. But I would never scream like rape because I'm a dude and I was a man. I wasn't a kid. I was 18, 19, 20 years old.
I'm a slut. I just let it happen because I want it.
Well, as I got older and realized that I was a little more gay than I was then, I was like, oh man, I should have
took that opportunity.
Yeah, I should have took that opportunity, man.
Oh my God.
Because there was a few of them where I was like, it was me or Tobey Maguire.
Uh-oh.
It was me. Yeah, no, it was me or somebody else, and then somebody else got the part, and I should have, oh well. At least I still have my integrity.
Oh my God. You could have had a blowjob and a movie. I would have done
it. I blew it. I mean, I didn't blow it.
You would have blew the money anyway. So
you didn't blow it is the problem.
I didn't blow it. You're right. Yeah. No, but there's a bunch of actors that I could have had their career. I think every D-list half pseudo famous actor like me, they always, have like 20 guys that beat them out for something. But in a couple of those situations where actors beat me out for star making roles, yeah, there was a little something weird going on there that I wasn't willing to do.
Manu, are you not getting residuals from Star Trek up until now?
Oh, I'm still getting them. Yeah. But even in Star Trek, I'll tell you the true story of the perversion in that show. One, I think I was cast in that show because I intimated that there might be some hanky panky. No, probably not. That's not true. He's a great casting director. I shouldn't say that. That's not really true. But the costume designer, and I'll call him out. Fuck it, man. Star Trek's never going to hire me again anyway. Bob Blackman. I was like, what was I, 20 when I got that show? But I looked 16. So they really, each of this character on Star Trek was a lot younger than I looked. I was 20, 21 years old. But when they first started to design my Borg outfit, Bob Blackman had me take off my pants to my undies, and he would take the tape measure and he would go all the way up to my little scrotum, and he would like get a little touchy feely, and he would and they actually designed the Borg outfit so that my entire right leg, all the way to my balls, that were like tucked up inside there with a little onesie, and my whole skinny white 21-year-old leg was sticking out of that costume. And that's how they wanted to leave it. And Bob Blackman was like, it's artistic, it's beautiful, And I was like, I'm not fucking doing this, man. You're not, I'm not, no, this isn't happening. And so after I was touched and feeled a little bit, I remember thinking, this is a little odd. He's touching my balls, you know? Afterwards, we made a Brandon Braga, who's the fucking coolest guy in the world, one of the showrunners, Rick Berman and Brandon Braga. Brandon ended up having to get the phone call when I was like, I'm not showing my whole white leg to the world in this Borg costume. He came down and he said, yeah, I wouldn't really want to show everybody that skinny white leg either. We'll do something about that. And they gave me a pantyhose that I could pull all the way up, and they painted it all like zombie Borg dead-like, and they glued some robot parts onto the pantyhose. So I looked a little tougher and a little less
nude.
Yeah.
Wasn't the Fifth Passenger costumes kind of like that? I remember some complaints about the Fifth Passenger.
Exactly the opposite.
Exact opposite. It was the most comfortable thing ever.
No, the Fifth Passenger, we had these spacesuits, and they were designed by a lovely friend of mine, Tim Russ's wife from Star Trek. She's fantastic. But I'm Irish, so my penis is not that big. And these costumes did not do me any favors. And so it kind of looked like I had a vagina. So I decided in my brilliant mind to take a big sock and wrap a bunch of tape around it and stick it down into my costume in my underwear. And if you watch Fifth Passenger close, there's a few takes where you can see like I've just got a Johnson. And it's totally wrong. And I can't believe I did that. I watch it to this day and I'm like, oh, Manu, would you just...
So just because you're Irish, you had to pad your wee dandy Dublin.
I had to pad it a bit.
Oh my God.
Okay, so no wonder the shots that I did where I was wearing your pants, it's a POV looking down. No wonder they matched up nicely.
Yeah, because you got the real thing, right? Yeah.
It was me doing those shots.
Yeah. Actually, he's not lying either. He's not lying. Now, yeah, he did all these great B shots of like me and my hands. You were my hands as well, fixing.
No, Scotty was the hands, and I was your feet and the boots and all that jazz.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you look down, that is me, and when you see me, it's Prince with a Manu face. Yeah, no, it was so dumb. It was like the dumbest thing I ever did. But you'll see. I mean, if you take the time, Fifth Passenger, you'll see my absurdly large junk. All right, so Prince, I love your wife and your kids, and I love you. I heard you just went through a divorce. I don't want to hit you smack face dab. I do. I'm hitting you smack face dab with it. I'm thinking about leaving my wife. So... should I do it, or is it just like
ex-wife now? Just it's confirmed. It's ex-wife.
Oh, did it actually happen for real? Now you've both signed.
It's been a year in the making, but it's there. Yeah. So,
but you still have love and care for each other, right?
Well, when you have kids, you have to. It's an extension of your kids. So, as much as you have differences, you have to kind of stitch things together and just go through with it until the kids are older, and maybe you can communicate less maybe in the future or whatnot, or maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? But
did you have to fight over a time with the kids?
I did. There was unfortunately there was a lot of shenanigans happening with the legal side of things. When you have somebody that's not in real control and the attorneys take over, that's what happens. Attorneys drive, and when they're driving, they're just going off road and just taking all these tours and coming up with a bunch of nonsense bullshit and anything to make the court to win
and to take more money and spend more time.
Yeah, right. To win what though? What are you really winning? My kids? My kids?
No, you're not winning. The lawyers are winning.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, they're winning money, right? They're winning money from these people that can't really even afford it. Even the rich people can't afford this, man. There's no way. There's no way.
My parents were going to get a divorce, but they wanted to wait until the kids were dead.
Yeah, I was thinking about leaving my wife. I think about it all the time. Hope she's not watching.
Wait, are you guys married now?
Yeah, man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 12 years. I mean, not married for 12 years, but we've been together for 12 years. But we're married in our way, not in a legal sense. So I think I could leave my wife without as much hassle, but
maybe not. Maybe not. If you live in California, man, you might want to reconsider.
Yeah. Well, that's what I figured. I figured the common law marriage thing was because we've been together forever. So
yeah, I think what is it, 7 years or something like that, and I guess if after 10 years, especially, you'd be owing stuff. So
and we got married in the Wiccan tradition. So we went to the top of a mountain and did all these, Wiccan spells. I married a witch, for God's sakes.
Did you see what Chris said?
Most expensive thing I ever bought.
I was looking at hey, you got a bargain, man.
You got a bargain, man. That's funny. My God. Holy moly. We started talking about real life. We went way over time. Is there anybody that wants to ask Prince a couple questions?
We got 4 people. Yeah.
All right. Let's line them up and knock them out. I didn't realize I've gone so far over time. Okay. Who's our first guest that wants to ask Prince a question? Dave Prime. How you doing, Dave Prime?
I'm doing. How about you? But actually, my first question is for you, Manu. It's like, how many movies have you been at the receiving end of a pistol?
A lot.
It's like, just like, like there's this one. There's.
Are we talking about the movie or the couch? I just want to be clear.
He's typecast as the guy that dies.
Yeah. I am typecast as
just kill me in your movie.
Yeah, kill me in your movie. That's Manu Intiraymi in a nutshell.
But no.
Even in the TV shows, not Voyager, but One Tree Hill, they shot me like 6 times at the end of that season. So.
Well, Star Trek. Ooh.
I didn't die in Star Trek until 20 years later when they
hired
somebody else to play me and gutted me like a fish. Yeah, that sucks.
But no, I want to ask Prince about his early years as an illusionist. Since
based
on that,
man. You got some magic tricks for us? You got one for us?
Yeah. Look, this is an almond. Now you see it, and now you don't. See like that? That's the extent of my magic career now. Yeah, good. Let's see.
Come on, you've got to have one up your sleeve somewhere. Hold on.
Oh, I can make myself disappear.
All right, watch this.
I can do that same trick, but we're not gonna do that.
All right, I'm gonna rub this dime into my arm. You ready? Oh shit. No, I fucked it.
Love it.
I fucked it up. I fucked it up. Shut up.
I thought you were on overtime, man. This is
Oh, look at that. Look at that. I fucking rubbed it into my arm. That's the only trick I know.
That's funny. But
really, it's right. Look, I can bring it back. Ooh, how do you do that?
It seems like no one is impressed. The comments are brilliant magic trick, Mommy.
The comments are flying through. Yeah.
There you go.
I did see David Copper. I met. I thank you, Katie. I thank you, Mal. Oh, worst trick ever.
Thank you to her too.
I did meet David Copperfield once. That's about as close to magic as I got.
Oh, you did?
I was at the David Copperfield show in Vegas with a bunch of Star Trek actors, and Valerie was there. My wife was there with me, and so she was like, "Hey, why don't you just say you're here with, all these Star Trek actors, and see if he'll come out?" And I was like, "That's not a bad idea." And so we told the stagehand, "Hey, blankety blanket, blankety blanket, blankety blanket is all here, and they'd love to meet you." And he came out and said hi to us, and signed some autographs, and took some pictures. It was cool.
Right on.
And Copperfield, man. I mean, when I was a kid. When I was a kid, he flew. I mean, he did some amazing stuff.
Statue of Liberty disappear. I think that was Copperfield.
Yeah, that was Copperfield too. Yeah,
loved him.
Now he's in Vegas. I don't know if he's still in Vegas. I remember he got into some kind of canceled culture trouble, but hopefully he's still there.
Who, Copperfield? Copperfield? I think he does stuff like that. Yeah.
What do you mean?
he's
Vegas stuff or
yeah, he has
culture stuff.
other shows that he does, but I think he's still there.
Yeah.
Lance Burton was a big influence on me growing up, back then. He was working with David Copperfield. Yeah, Lance Burton. To answer his question, this is Dave's question. It was I started magic because it was a hobby at first, and then my dad saw me doing magic back then, and he took it upon himself to manage me. And one thing led to another, and all of a sudden I was performing professionally at Magic Castle. I was the youngest child magician there back in the day.
I didn't know you did that, man.
Well, yeah. No, it was a piece of my childhood that was taken away by this adult kind of themed career, and so I kind of related to those I could look at it now and kind of relate to child actors, of how they're you as well a little bit. I mean, you weren't as young, when you started, but it was a good piece of my childhood that was taken away. But nevertheless, it was a good experience in seeing entertainment from a different POV, and then going head on and just changing gears and going behind the camera and never in front, and funny enough, I was directing my dad, who was filming a lot of these things and doing a lot of this, and it was a good time. Yeah, it was a good time, but a child doesn't belong in magic, I think.
Penn and Teller was a big influence on me. I love their magic.
I love Penn and Teller.
They were hilarious. Yeah, they were fun.
They don't children. I wouldn't let my kids act either, and not until they were 18 or they were going to school. At least I wouldn't let my kids act.
I mean, look, my daughter asked me. My daughter Elizabeth asked me if she can be in my movie.
If it was in my film, sure.
Yeah, I think I would only allow her. Yeah, which was what I was going to say. It's my film. Okay, you can do it, but I wouldn't have her do it professionally. I would say, it's just unless it becomes like I don't want it to become a job, because that's when you start hating it. That's when you start going down this different road that nobody really admires at that age, at least.
Yeah, it would be hard, man. Could you imagine being a kid and being famous and getting all those paychecks and taking care of your parents' bills and working 16 hours and like all the stuff that Hollywood makes you do? It's messed up a lot of kids' heads. You can just look at the history of Hollywood and you can see that.
I'm 50 years old. Am I old enough? Can I try now at 50?
Yeah, you can try now. It's never too late.
Okay, good.
It's never too late. You can get an agent. People will rep you.
I waited. I waited.
You got some pizzazz and you got a good look.
I'm fat. All right.
Well,
Dave.
yeah, but fat people are great. You got a fat hickey look that and you're funny, and there's a niche for you. You don't realize this, but there is.
I'll have to do the hat thing someday. All right.
Dave's question. The show's running long, so we got to move on to the next person. Who's next?
The legacy.
Zach. Legacy Zach.
In the darkness.
Soar in the darkness.
Yeah.
All right. So the darkness of Hollywood has showed up live on our show.
You could say that. So, speaking of that, Tyson, I mean, you could if John Candy can be one of the best. So,
wow. If I eat a few more Pringles, I could get there.
Mm-hmm. Just don't die on a horse like John. Poor John. He was so good, man. I love John Candy.
He was.
You know who I loved? Belushi, and then in my day, when I was a kid, in my 20s, coming up, Farley, man. Poor Farley.
Chris Farley. And
Farley
David Spade. They did everything together, right?
Well, yeah.
David
Spade
and
lost
Chris
his
Farley?
career after Farley because they were like a dynamic duo, and Farley just, got swallowed by the druggy darkness. But Farley was so funny, man. It was so sad. I remember auditioning for Go, which was one of the first movies I ever did, and looking in the casting office, looking at the Farley death cover on Time magazine and going, what? No more black sheep, which Farley was fucking so funny.
Back when I worked at Nordstrom, I sold Kate Spade. I sold the hell out of Kate Spade purses. That's how gay I am. I swear to God, I worked at Nordstrom and I sold Kate Spade purses at Nordstrom.
Do you have any left? Just tucked away?
My mom a Kate Spade. I bought, I sold everything from Coach to Gucci to but I think Kate Spade is the sister-in-law of David Spade. I think that's the relation.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
I was going to ask, how are you relating?
I'm like,
Kate
what the?
Yeah,
What
no.
are you talking about?
They're very okay. Only gay person here. Kate Spade is very famous, known hand brand.
Yes, the
brand.
little purses, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, she's like the sister-in-law to David Spade. That's where
I could hang one on my dick.
That's pretty generous, but okay.
All right, Zach, you had a question, I think.
Yeah. What's the process that goes through your head, Prince, when you're coming up with the direction of a story? I mean,
good question.
The direction of the story. Well, I guess it helps if I'm the writer of the script and I'm diving into directing it. So writing, of course, is one form of directing. It's like putting all these things in paper and your ideas and how the story is the turn of events are gonna occur and whatnot. So I use that as a template and as a Bible, but I never really stick to it because what you create when you're in production is kind of almost completely different than what the script is, especially if you're open to doing all that, right? And then again, a third time you make the film and direct it is by editing it. So a lot of times I'm the editor of the project too, and so I'm making the film again a third time. And the editor could really make or break the film. I think it's probably the most important process of the filmmaking process. It's just that's why when I won a couple awards a few times for editing, I thought that was more meaningful for me than the actual directing or winning a best picture or whatever. Cinematography, great, cool. But if it wasn't edited right, none of the work that anybody did was gonna shine right. So it's important. And so directing, I think I'm always directing to go off of a template from the writing and directing to the edit. So that way the edit is going to be the utmost best it possibly can be. Hope that answered the question.
Kind of. I want to add a little bit to it. When you write, like, what is your process for coming up with the idea? What is your process for what you put on the page? Is there any rules you follow, or?
No, there's no rules. But what I do is I don't come up with, I don't look at a blank page and come up with just a scene or a story from out of thin air, right? So it comes naturally as time passes, and I jot down a lot of things, a lot of details. So if, for example, if I meet a person who looks like a perfect would be a perfect character in my film or a film or any type of story, I just plug them into my notes somewhere in my phone or whatnot, and maybe that person, that real life character, will translate and come to fruition as a fictional character in a film somewhere. Maybe in not in the exact way that I wrote it initially, but it will somehow find its way in there. And so, going through a divorce and going through a lot of these, family things and whatnot, it kind of translates into some of the recent stuff that I've done, and it's just there. Maybe it's not from the POV that I initially wrote it as or I want it to be, but it's there, it's like so
it's inspiration. So
no, it's very cool that you turn any negative into a positive. And I was just on a podcast earlier for Star Trek, and same question was asked of me. And after Star Crew, I really, really want to do something that's just heads talking, real life. I want to tell people the story of my life, not from a narcissistic point of view, but because I've been through a lot of shit all the way from 5 years old to where I'm living and what I'm doing now. And I realized that my whole filmmaking career as a producer and just recently as a director has been about running away from the truth and reality and honesty and actually telling my story. And I think that's what I need to do next after Star Crew. I realized after Hell on the Border, I just wanted to do a comedy and I wanted to have some fun. and sort of say goodbye to sci-fi. And that's why I'm doing Star Crew, is to sort of say thanks, goodbye, and thanks for all the fish to sci-fi. But yeah, the next movie that I do, I want it to be something that's real, and I think I'm just going to tell the story of my life, honestly. There was a great movie, I mean, TV show. I don't know if you've seen it, Prince, but it was called Baby Reindeer. It's on Netflix, and it's a true story about this filmmaker, comedian named Richard Gadd, and all the shit that he went through in London to try to make it. And it's phenomenal, Baby Reindeer. And it's honest, it's truthful, it's real. It shows some really ugly things that happen behind the scenes to this guy. But he was honest, and he was willing to show it. He was willing to show the real deal about his life, and it's pretty mind-blowing. It's a special piece of TV. Baby Reindeer on Netflix. All right, who do we have next?
Check it out, yeah.
Mala Morrigan, how are you? Nice to see you. Your microphone's off.
Why have
Hi.
I do that? I'm so I need my helmet. How are you guys?
Speaking of a great indie movie, I love that movie with the girl that puts on the helmet. Zach Braff's first movie. Remember that one? Remember the first movie Zach Braff made? It was wonderful. He went back home. His mom was dying. He met, what's her name? And she had epilepsy, so she wore the helmet. And he went and smoked pot in a ditch with his friend.
Wish I was here. Is that what it was?
Oh man, you guys you ask Prince your question. I'll look it up. Great movie. Go ahead, Mala. Ask Prince.
I was waiting for the movie.
I'll get it.
I wanted to say that I would love it if you came up to Toronto to do some filming. And if you ever did, I work for Hugs and Credit.
Who do you work for, Mala?
Hugs and Credit.
Oh.
Which means she works for free.
For free, right.
Name. Hugs and Credits.
Hugs and Credits. Zach Braff's first movie was called Garden State.
Garden State.
Fantastic indie film.
Sorry. I'm lame.
Oh, it's a wonderful movie. You should see it. Take the time. Do it tonight. Get off of this show and go Netflix and chill. Pop some popcorn, Xanax, enjoy the movie.
Not right now.
No, later.
After the show.
Toronto, funny you mentioned that. I've been to Toronto a couple times, especially with all of my films. There's a festival there that I go to.
There is.
Yeah. It's called Pomegranate Film Festival. They are super loving people. They take it. They're always asking me about projects, and they always want to do a premiere there for my films. I love Toronto. It's like LA, but the colder version.
It's beautiful up there too.
Yeah.
It is. Traffic is very identical.
I'll be there. If you ever come up and need a designated driver, I'm your girl.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Hugs and Credits and gas.
Yeah, that's like Idaho. We went to Idaho to make a film in Nespers once, and I was shooting a bunch of action sequences in Idaho, and everybody was all about that. Hugs and kisses and favors. It's just like, no, I don't want anything. You want a horse? You want a boat? You want a plane? It's just, just give me a credit. Can I be in the scene? Can I be in the background just waving or whatnot? It's not like here, It's not like here. You take out.
I thought Colorado would be like that, and dude, it's not. This whole town is hip to the film industry. They want money to shoot, and nobody's like, yeah, open, come on in, shoot in my abandoned hospital. Just don't get asbestos poisoning. Yeah, nobody wants to let us shoot here. It's weird. I thought it would be a much more open thing.
Yeah, no, they'll frisk you. You take out a camera here, they'll frisk you. They're a little bit more lenient now because of TikTokers and YouTubers and stuff doing things on their phone. But yeah, I went to film school here, and I almost got arrested several times. It's just taking out a camera. It's like, what are we doing? It's not a weapon. It's just a camera, guys.
Well, Prince will flip cars on back roads with stuntmen that know what they're doing, but
with no permits because it's on private property. You can say it, Manu.
I was holding back.
Well,
It's on private property. We can do it.
We can do whatever we want. It's private property.
Fine line
Little
between
loopholes.
right or wrong and whatnot. We're all doing it. We're not curing cancer. Everything's safe. We have a safety team. We have, we have real medics on set, and they're all licensed, and it's all real. But
did you see me hanging out of that car shooting that AK-47 with real bullets? I had no safety gear on. If I fell out that window, I was done. And an actor was driving. So
safety protocols off.
So Prince could have filmed that and made it completely different. Oh my God, he fell. He got ran over. Oh, there's an idea for a movie.
Sell it to TMZ. You would have got like at least $100,000 for the death of Egypt.
There you go.
How did Egypt really die? It wasn't on the cube.
These are also brilliant ideas. Manu, are you up for this? Because we can finance.
Yeah, we could just
falling out of an SUV.
I'm down to fake my death. Actually, that might give me a career back or something.
Don't do that. I could find you land up in Ontario if you ever wanted to shoot like private property, just for the record.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Me and Prince will both take advantage of that if we can.
Come to Toronto.
So what's the private land up in Ontario? Is it your house or is it?
No, Sean's mother owns a 103-acre farm out in Guelph.
Damn.
Sweet. We could do a horror movie up there, man.
A lot up there.
You got a farm and like a bunch of land and trees and
103 acres. You could flip a lot of cars without a permit.
Right.
Yeah, we could blow shit up out there. We can take drugs.
We get some helicopter crashes into the
and
Speaking of, that's another thing I want to share. Prince crashed 3 drones shooting abducted because he wanted to teach himself to be a drone pilot.
Teach himself. No, all for the love of filmmaking. We needed those shots.
That'd be awesome.
He kept running them into the power lines and shit.
It's an added
Call insurance. I crashed another one.
Actually, one of those shots ended up in the movie. It's in the trailer actually that we saw. So,
it's actually in the. Did you use the crash?
we used the footage. No, we didn't use the crash, but we used the footage
You
leading
got the
up.
footage until the crash.
Yeah, we had to go chop the tree down so we can get the drone out, so we can get the memory card out, so we can put it in the film. So yeah, be careful what you wish for, Mala. We might be there crashing real helicopter drones.
Yeah. Blowing up your farm. We'll be there in like a month.
No, well, actually, if you go to the festival in Toronto, we would love to come by and check it out. That would be awesome.
That's awesome. When is the Pomegranate Festival?
I think they're in November. They're usually in the winter.
Okay, just I know TIFF is September, and
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
hears
They
about
do
TIFF.
it around the same time. Yeah.
Good deal. I'll have to check that out.
Okay, cool. I think we have one more guest. Yeah, Katie.
We have
Let's
Katie.
Katie, you're the final question for Prince Bagdasarian. And God, I went way over time. Sorry, Prince, for keeping you so long.
I'm good.
Go ahead, Katie.
Good morning. Well, I think that Dave took my question. I was going to ask you about how you got started in magic. But I've been told to speak about my blog as well. So,
Yeah, check out Katie's blog. Come on, show put up the graphic, producer guy.
We don't have a graphic yet,
We did.
but we will.
We did. It said
It was
I saw it
somebody's
last
comment.
week. Oh, that was a comment last week.
Yes.
Well, check out Katie's blog on it. I'm a host. I should know these things too. But
it's on the Dangerous Thoughts
the
website.
website.
go to the Dangerous Thoughts website.
It's about all sorts. So far, I've done.
We'll get better at this. We're only on show 50. We'll get better.
Manu for president.
45.
Sorry.
Well, I've got 9 blogs on there so far.
Oh, really?
and
I'm gonna check them all
and
out.
It
tonight.
started off with natural healing, and then it progressed into massage. My latest one, which is the end of the massage series, is all about sensual massage. And next week I will be starting to delve into my craft and talking about Wicca.
Hey, Prince, what race are you?
What race?
Yeah. Do you believe in race? Do you have a
The
race?
human race.
I mean, human race. Yeah, alien.
You're not a Anunnaki in disguise.
I'm not an Anunnaki. Yeah, no. Scooby Doo is though. I've heard. So.
Scooby Doo is an Anunnaki. That's
Roll
what
credits.
you know. Yeah, roll
Scooby-Doo
credits.
is an Anunnaki.
And Shaggy's a pothead. Come on. Yes.
Well, we know Shaggy's a pothead. I mean, that's blatantly obvious. But Scooby being an Anunnaki is something new for me. I don't know where Prince heard that one, but I want to see it.
I'm telling you, there is somewhere. I didn't make that up.
Yeah.
No, I'm Armenian. I'm white. When they make you fill out the thing, when it doesn't say Armenian on there, usually
you're Caucasian. Oh, white. Oh yeah, they do just put white, don't they?
Sometimes you can put other, and then you can just fill it in.
Other Anunnaki, Scooby Doo. Well,
my God, and Fred is a Mesopotamian, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I was going to try to string that along to magic somehow, but I don't think I'm going to do it.
But now, how did you get into magic? Because if that's what Dave asked you, I did not hear it. I was too busy laughing at Manu.
Well, actually, honestly, I don't remember exact moment where how I got into it, but I know it was a hobby. I used to go to this magic store in Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard. Manu, you might remember this. It was right next to this Halloween store that was there for the longest time, like I don't know how many decades. But I walked into that magic store and I was elated to like see all of these things. Just like it was like a different world, right? It's like one of those Disney movies where like a kid walks into this like store.
Is that double-decker Halloween store gone, or the magic store's gone? The magic store's gone.
No, I think they're both gone.
They're both gone now.
They're both gone, but the Halloween store survived quite a bit.
Yeah, it was there for a while.
Yeah, they went away.
Bummer.
Yeah, I used to go into that store a lot, and I started buying a bunch of random stuff that my parents bought me. And so when I used to do these practices, and I used to do these to like some of my friends and whatnot, my dad saw how good I was, and so he took it as an opportunity to be like, "Hey, why don't we get you here? Why don't we get you to this program? Why don't we get you, to audition for this?" And one thing led to another, and then all of a sudden I was like doing bigger stage illusions, and no longer those little close-up magic tricks. I actually, when I went to film school, I came out, I wrote a script, and I was like, okay, what do I write a script about? Like, what is my story going to be, other than a heist film? And I wrote a script called Beautiful Illusion. And it was a kind of semi-fictionalized version of an autobiography kind of version of my story, getting into magic and doing all that stuff. But of course I, fictionalized some of the characters and whatnot. So I wrote this script, and normally scripts are about a page per minute, give or take, right, Manu? It's like 90-minute script is a 90-minute movie, give or take. And this script was 172 pages long, and it was only act one of the movie. And I had no idea what I was writing. I was just writing a story about everything that happened to me and growing up in those years, from television shows to Magic Castle to all these stage illusions to meeting my idol, and then realizing that he stole some of my ideas, and then seeing it on TV, and then it come to fruition from his end and instead of my side, and like all these things, right? And then the family drama happening in the background. So all of these things just kind of came together into that script, but I had no way of making that. So, but now, after so many years, and especially when series and television shows are now a thing, I'm thinking of revisiting that and maybe making it into a series at some point. So yeah, maybe that might be
brilliant.
That's a great title, Beautiful Illusion, and about a kid losing his, his innocence in the magic world. Sounds cool to me, man. Some real shit. Okay. Katie, did you have anything else that you wanted to ask before we sign out of here?
Just one little thing, and that is, what is your favorite magic trick / illusion that you've ever done? Without any spoilers.
It was a trick called, my sister Rose would probably agree with me on this one. It was called the sub-trunk illusion. It was performed actually by I forgot his name. Who cares? Whatever. It was a top magician, an adult magician that came to my house, wanted to buy this illusion sub-trunk thing from me, and he actually took pictures of it, and then ended up basically ripping the whole thing off, making it and doing it on a Vegas stage years later. And my dad went berserk. Like he was like he didn't know who to sue. He was just like, let it go, man. It's just It is what it is. Look, you're creative. You could come up with something better. But the sub-trunk illusion, is one of my favorites. I can explain to you what it was. So it's a how did it go? So I came out and introduced this sub-trunk. It was a wooden trunk. There's like bolts, there's a bunch of locks and stuff on it. And I opened it up, and my assistant, which was my sister at the time, she comes out and she puts me inside a bag. It's like some kind of like giant like duffel bag looking thing, and they lock it up. And I'm handcuffed inside this thing. The key gets thrown away and all this jazz. She closes the trunk. She locks it up. She throws the key into the audience and all this stuff. And she gets this big giant kind of cloth. It's like this magic drape or whatever you want to call it. And in a matter of seconds, she stands on top of the trunk. And in a matter of seconds, she just throws that curtain, that drape up, and I pull it away. And we did basically a
switcheroo. Oh, that's pretty. That's a good trick, man.
And I end up basically breaking the whole thing open, go get the key, unlock it, and all these things, open the trunk, and untie the bag that she's in now. Not only is she tied inside, but she's also in a different outfit inside the bag. So in a matter of like 60 seconds or 40 seconds or whatever it is, Yeah.
That's cool, man.
That's
way better.
One of these days, you have got to film how that trick works, so you can spoil it for the asshole that stole it from you.
Sure, I think that guy did that already. What's his name? The Masked Magician or whatever. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was like
I remember. Yeah, I love that show.
But the thing is,
the Masked Magician
reveals were just so outdated. It's like some of the stuff that he was showing, like how it's done. It's like mirrors and smoke and whatnot. I'm like, come on, man, you don't do that.
It's not the new stuff. It's not the new stuff. Yeah, like the people who fool Penn and Teller. I love, fool us.
Yeah, that
Penn
was
and Teller
fun
fool us.
Yeah,
because when Penn and Teller are watching it live and they can't figure it out, it's good.
Yeah.
It might have been those guys that stole Prince's trick because Penn came out of his mouth.
That's why I said he should film how it's done. Just so the asshole who stole it.
Maybe Penn and Teller do the switcheroo, and Teller's in a different outfit. Although I don't know, maybe. All right, so Prince, man, thank you for coming on. It's great to see you. It's great to catch up with you. Everybody that watches Dangerous Thoughts, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Share it on your social media. And we'll be back next week. I think we have who's our guest next week? Do we know? Does Mala know?
Alethea Jacobs.
Who?
Alethea Jacobs.
Alethea Jacobs, and what is her specialty?
I forget.
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Right? She does a bunch of stuff. Very occultish sort of stuff.
Okay, so we're gonna talk with another psychic, some paranormal stuff. I actually should know this. I'm sorry, I don't. But we have a fantastic guest next week, and her name is Alethea, and you guys should see it because it's going to be dangerous. Prince, also, thanks for talking a little bit about personal stuff in the world. We do paranormal and creepy stuff on this show. Do yourself a favor. Don't look into it. You will get lost in the rabbit hole, and your life will be destroyed. But thanks for coming on the show, and your movies, man. I'm looking forward to Dashing Through the Snow. Everybody check it out. We'll see you next week with Alethea Jacobs on Dangerous Thoughts.
All right, guys.
I'm looking for a woman in witchcraft who can spellcast a hex queen, willing to become an enemy of the state.
Take it to him. Ruining motivation to survive. Private is like a jungle holding rest of a nation. You couldn't hold me like a tongue, your knees collapse in the waist. Hey, gorilla hearted, I beat in my chest to stay alive. Take it to him. Ruining motivation to survive. Private is like a jungle holding rest of a nation. You couldn't hold me like a tongue, your knees collapse in the waist. Hey, gorilla hearted, I beat in my chest to stay alive. Hey.